Alright, Troop Strong and Conditioned, live and direct from Glasgow, Scotland. Right, boys, let's just cut to the chase here. Guys like to look good. Guys want to have a good body, they want to have a nice physique. All men yearn that to a certain degree. They would rather they had a body which symbolises health, which looks good, which shows that they've worked fucking hard to get there, than some body which is kind of making them feel pretty bad about themselves. I don't know, it's a touchy subject nowadays. Anyway, the point is this, that we want to look a certain way, but it's so fucking hard. It's so difficult to look a certain way, the way that we see ourselves, if we knew we had the perfect training regime, the perfect nutrition regime, all that bullshit. But the bottom line is this, is that getting to a point where you feel you look really good is fucking hard. You need to do some crazy shit to get there. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to get uncomfortable. Now, I'm going to go through the strategies that I employed when I was trying to get down to, I don't know, between 15 and 10% body fat. Super lean, in my opinion, because getting lean at the age of 40 is fucking hard, man. Well, kind of hard. It's hard, but it's easy in some respects as well, and I'll get into that. Now, number one, how did I achieve this physique, so to speak? What I did is I created strategies in my head, created belief systems which would drive me towards the goal. Now that sounds pretty wacky, that sounds like fucking woo-woo shit, but the bottom line is that sometimes you need to create these parables, these systems in your head, which might not apply with science, to keep you driving towards the goal. It's weird, man. It's almost like we respond to things that we think to be the case, even if people could shoot it down in flames. Now, what I mean with that is this, right? I had a bigger purpose in mind, and that's something that you should always factor in. Have a bigger picture. Don't be thinking, I want to look a certain way because it's going to like have women throwing themselves at me. That doesn't work. You need to look at the bigger picture. What am I actually doing this for? The why. Everybody loves the why, and this is the why. Now, my why was that I had realised that I was kind of kidding myself on with regards to building muscle over the years. And the reason being was that I was stuck in a time capsule where, like, the 2010 era of lifting, which was more powerlifting based, athletic performance based, that was the superior method. And it obviously came to light over the last few years that it's probably not the best way to gain muscle. There are better ways which we've deluded ourselves upon, because fitness is something where the content's ever evolving, although the principles are actually really simple. Therefore, people make up shit. People like to go down different paths, and they like to employ coping strategies to justify said paths they take are effective. So I'm probably rambling a bit. So ultimately what I'm trying to say is have the belief system. And the belief system for me was that I wanted to bulk up. I wanted to have that last chance at employing the systems that I've been learning about over the last year or so to see if they will help me build muscle. And the strategy that I had in place was I knew that I had to strip back a lot of fat to create a fertile area, so to speak. It's like when you move into a house and you've got like 5 plant pots and there's old soil and you want to kind of recycle it, so you're going to get rid of all the bullshit soil, you're going to get rid of the topsoil, and you're going to bring new topsoil in so that it's fertile. And I was under the impression, and it's probably been scientifically debunked, but if I can strip all body fat down or just get super lean, and I'm building a platform which is potentially more anabolic for growth, just having that fertile soil, so to speak, so that I can explode in size. Right? Wishful thinking. But you get the point. And that was the belief that drove me. Now, like I said, is it true? I don't know. But it's just something that kind of kept me on track. So the belief system has to be there. The purpose has to be there. Why am I doing this? It could also be for guys who have just had kids, for example, and they're thinking, look, I need to be on the point for these kids. I'm running about with fucking youngsters, man, so I need to be fit So I've got a bigger purpose. It's not just because I'm tired of sitting on the couch every night eating fucking Pringles. There's a bigger picture there. So you need to find your bigger picture, and the bigger picture is, I'm just losing weight to get healthy. You need to go for something else. That to me is too generic. You need that story, you need that journey. So always have the bigger picture involved. That's something that's going to help you just fucking achieve your goals, so to speak. Now, what's number two? Number two is you need to find a training system that you're going to stick to. Now, for me, I'm obviously trying to build a bit more muscle, therefore I had to maintain the muscle that I had built prior up to that point. I'd been kind of flirting between bulks and cuts, but I never really had the inspiration or the motivation to maintain it. And that's another thing, you're going to have a lot of cracks of the whip in this game. I tend to find that successful dieting, there's a lot of fucking attempts before that. It's no one just starts a diet. There's a lot of fucking dents in the roads. You've made a good few fucking goes at this shit, and finally one sort of sticks, and it's because you sort of take little bits of what worked and just kind of create some better system, so to speak. But yeah, absolutely. Number two is find a training system that you can do consistently and reflects your life at that point in time. Now, one of the first times I ever got lean was because I had started doing burpees and I had started doing high body weight stuff, but that exciting training style was kind of good at that point in my life because things were comfortable. Things were very comfortable. There was not a lot of stress in my life other than family stuff. But stress was something that was kind of detached. Then things changed for me at one point in my life where a lot of stress came into play, therefore I had to seek a more sedate style of training. And it kind of made me believe that is there paths you take that reflect how things are going on during your life. If you are in a stressful phase of life, then doing fucking high intensity shit where your heart rate's going through the roof is probably not the conducive fitness style to utilise it at that point in time. Ultimately, you want something that's going to take away the stress from life. And I found that weight training was that medium for me, because weight training to me is not stressful. You can kind of take your own time during the process. You can kind of relax at points. It's hard work, you're using strength, but it's very, very fleeting, it's very temporary. And when you equate it to a style of training like marathon running or doing high rep burpees, you start to realise that it's not as taxing in the same ways that these activities tend to be, which is fucking brutal annihilation. So it gives you that good reference point. However, you find a training style that is something that can easily slot into your lifestyle. For me, it was doing the 4-day split that I was inspired to create through Faz Lifts. And what happened was it was just something I could easily slot into my life at that point. And it wasn't, the only stress was just having to go to the gym. The actual work involved the gym, it wasn't stressful at all. So find a workout style which complements your training and your lifestyle. Now, number 3 is just fucking count calories. Just count calories, because you need to have control in this process. You need to be able to control the fucking narrative, and if you don't, it's going to blow up in your face. And counting calories is just a fail-safe method in order to achieve that. Now, it's well known that I've used MacroFactor in the past, and I used MacroFactor again. The reason being was I just knew that it worked. There was no point, or there was no time in my life to make mistakes or experiment at that point in time. It was just fucking do something tried and tested and stick to it. And I used MacroFactor with devastating effect. What I'll do is in a video what I'll put up, you can see a wee graphs of the weight loss that I went through over 8 weeks, which was quite significant to me because it wasn't like I was coming from a place of large poundage. I wasn't heavy to begin with, and I tend to find the lighter you are, the harder it is to lose weight in that respect. So number 3 is just get an app like MacroFactor and stick to it diligently. And when I say diligently, is weigh out everything you eat, even the butter that you put in your toast, even the sprays of fucking avocado oil that you spray on your walk. Everything needs to be measured meticulously. It's a pain in the arse, I am not going to lie. I fucking hate it. It can be kind of stressful and it's quite neurotic. especially when you're in a staff room at work and you're like, everybody's just chatting and you're standing there like with a fucking barcode scanner, like an airport worker letting people through to go on their holidays. It's just, it's stupid, but it works, and sometimes you need to do the stupid shit in order to get the results that you're looking for. Number 5, and one that just immediately comes to mind, is that you need to like have some fucking thing during your day that you look forward to, and something that's kind of low calorie. So you kind of need to be strategic with your food choices. Now, when it's time to cut, you just get there. Just fucking get to the cut, man. Do it as quickly as possible. Try and trim off that body fat as fast as possible, because it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare, the further you come down in terms of body fat, and I'll get into that in a wee minute. What I tend to find is that if I know I've got a treat at night, then I'm going to stay on board. I look forward to that treat. I'll even eat less throughout the day to accommodate the calories that I'm going to get for that treat. But don't be daft with the fucking treat. Do not be daft with that shit. What you need to do is you need to be kind of strategic in that respect. Now, if you want to eat bullshit, it's easy to get cakes, fucking Twixies, Snickers, high calorie, hyper palatable stuff. But ultimately, what I did was, it was just low calorie stuff like skyr yogurt, meringue was really good, because meringue's sweet. It's like 52 calories, and if you crumple it up into like a graham skyr yogurt, it's amazing. And then if you throw some blueberries into the mix, frozen blueberries, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So I started eating stuff like crumpets as well, and the reason I was eating crumpets was because they're actually quite low in calorie. It was like 92 calories per crumpet, and if I smeared it with honey, it was beautiful. It was an absolute treat as the night was coming on. I was looking so forward to those crumpets. So the bottom line, or what I'm trying to tell you guys, is that you need to have something to look forward to tonight when you're cutting, but you need to be quite intelligent about it. Don't just go into the fucking fridge and eat the jammy Dodgers. You need to be like, I'm going to go for this yogurt, but I'm going to jazz it up with this. I'm going to jazz it up with a bit of honey. These things are quite low in calorie, to be brutally honest, and they can be implemented in a fucking devastating fashion. Right, last one. I'm rambling. Last one to me was accept the reality that when the body fat starts to drop and starts to get to the point where you're kind of thinking, right, I'm getting somewhere, life's just going to get shit. Like, life is just going to get shit. You're going to be constantly hungry. Your workouts are going to suck ass. Like, your strength just disappears. You can mitigate these things by being really intelligent with your food choices, but sometimes in life you just need to fucking smash shit with a mallet as opposed to a hammer. Sometimes you need to take the big boys out and get those nails in, so to speak. So you are going to face harsh reality, tiredness, crankiness. The body's not meant to be at that body fat, I don't think. Like, and it starts to respond accordingly by making you feel like shit. Tend to find anything above 15% is probably optimal in that respect, but when you start going below 15%, when abs become visible, life gets pretty shit. And the realisation that no one gives a shit that you've got abs, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing in life. No one cares. Anyway, guys, they are the strategies that I would employ if I was trying to get lean. Kind of real world strategies, not the usual cookie cutter bullshit, other than probably the macro factor idea, but just kind of my experiences and what drove me forward in order to create progress and just get as shredded as possible so that I could have some fucking carcass that could actually put some muscle on at some point in its existence. Anyway, guys, once again, long video. Thanks for watching. Off the cuff as usual, but I think that's how we're rolling. Strong and conditioned towers. Thank you for staying strong, and thank you for staying conditioned.